Hello everyone, welcome back to Fraud on the Telly. In today's video, we return back to the fantasy world of Tal'Dorei, as we are breaking down every spell and ability in Legend of Vox Machina. If you didn't know, Legend of Vox Machina is an animated show based off the Dungeons and Dragons campaign Critical Role. The animated story is very true to the D&D campaign, all the way down to the spells and abilities our heroes use. So with that in mind, we're going to attempt to break down every D&D spell and ability used by our party members in Legend of Vox Machina. Of course, this video will contain spoilers for Season 1 of Legend of Vox Machina. As well, I'm more than likely to miss a few spells and abilities, so if I do, please let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you enjoy the video and learn something new, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out last week's Legend of Vox Machina video where we break down all of the foreshadowing throughout Season 1. Okay, let's go. I thought we'd start off with everyone's favorite smoky boy, Percival Frederickstein von Musil-Kowalski Dorolo III, or just Percy. A human gunslinger and heir to the lordship of Whitestone, Percy relies on his inventions and quick thinking to get the job done. Percy has invented the first firearms in this world, unwittingly with the help of the shadow demon Orthax, who claims the souls of Percy's victims in exchange for the knowledge to create the firearms. His weapons are as follows: the pepper box, Percy's first and most used gun; bad news, a high-powered rifle that is slow to reload; and finally diplomacy, a glove that allows the user to shock their foe via touch. However, this tool is only briefly introduced in the final episode of Season 1. Percy, as a gunslinger, a martial class, has limited abilities, the ones we see in the show being his reload action as well as the misfire action, which would cause the weapon to break if Percy were to roll low enough. Throughout Legend of Vox Machina, we see Percy shoot his gun a lot. In the campaign, Percy was a level 11 fighter, which allowed him to attack 3 times in a single turn. There's a few scenes where he shoots way more than 3 times though, even once emptying out all 6 shots. This is Percy's Action Surge, a fighter ability which allows him to use additional attacks. Moving on to Keilith, the half-elf druid. Keilith is an accomplished spellcaster and wielder of druidic magic. One of her core abilities as a druid is Wild Shape, which allows her to transform into certain animals. Throughout the show, we see her use this numerous times, taking on different forms. First being her saber-toothed tiger form, Minxie. Throughout Campaign 1, Keilith spent much time transformed as Minxie, as it was one of her most combat-effective transformations, and probably pretty damn comfy to sleep as a cat. As well, we see her take the forms of other animals, such as a hawk in the first fight against the Briarwoods, a jackalope when the party were attacked by Delilah's wraiths, as well as this adorable Kiki squirrel. In addition, we see her use the druid craft ability to create small flowers and vines. Speaking of vines, the spell we see Kiki cast the most is probably Grasping Vine, as she uses it to great effect in the battle against Brimscythe, even using it to create a protective dome. As well as, later on in Whitestone, a horde of undead are barreling down upon the party, Kiki produces a massive ice storm, freezing an entire street and all of the zombies. Another one of Kiki's signature spells is Call Lightning, where the caster summons a bolt of lightning from the skies to strike their target. She also uses the spell Skywrite to place the Dorolo seal over Whitestone, and Heat Metal to attempt to bypass a locked door. As well, she uses the spell Transport via plants in the final episode to take the party from Whitestone back to Iman. As well, throughout Season 1 of Legend of Vox Machina, we see Keilith experiment with the Sunlight or Sunbeam spell, culminating in Keilith's big anime moment in Episode 11, where she hits Silas with the Solar Flare. Moving on to everyone's favorite sneaky half-elf rogue, Vax'ildan. Aside from Vex's classic 3 attacks in 1 turn, dagger, 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 we see him showcase a number of rogue abilities, first being Evasion, and probably his feat Lucky. Evasion allows rogues to dodge and avoid damage from large effects, such as the breath from an adult blue dragon, or possibly falling boulders. In the campaign, Vax also had the feat Lucky, which allowed him to re-roll any attack roll, ability check, or saving throw 3 times a day, which explains how he gets out of so many sticky situations. On to his sister, Vixalia, a half-elf ranger Beastmaster, accompanied by her animal companion Trinket and Armored Bear. Like the other martial classes, Vixalia gets an extra attack action, which allows her to shoot multiple arrows. As well, her ranger ability Primeval Awareness plays an important role throughout the opening episodes. This ability allows experienced rangers to sense the presence of certain creatures around them. For Vixalia, this is dragons, as the elven siblings' hometown was destroyed by the red dragon Thordak when they were children. On to Pike Trickfoot, our gnome war cleric. Pike has quite the display of abilities throughout Season 1, beginning with her healing abilities. Pike at this time has access to a plethora of healing spells like Cure Wounds or the 6th level spell Heal. In addition, we see her use a few of her cleric abilities such as War God's Blessing, which gives her allies an additional bonus to hit, as well as Pike's Destroy Undead, which we see her use to destroy a ton of zombies in Whitestone. Speaking of Whitestone, in the fight for Whitestone as well, Pike imbues the weapons of the commoners with magical powers. It's possible this is the spell Magic Weapon, though to a greater degree, which allows a non-magical weapon to be considered magical for up to an hour. Pike as well in the fight with the Briarwoods atop the Ziggurat casts 2 spells, one being Shield of Faith, which allows her to give an increased AC bonus to either herself or an ally, which she uses to protect Keilith from Silas, and Guiding Bolt, a bolt of holy energy that deals damage, and if it hits, gives the next attack on the creature advantage. On to the big boy himself, Grog Strongjaw, the Barbarian Berserker. Another martial class, Grog is best known for his massive strength and ability to take a hit. This is due to his Barbarian Rage, an ability that allows him to take half damage. As well as in the opening bar scenes, Grog uses one of his subclass's abilities, Intimidating Presence, to scare his foes. Like other martial classes, Grog also has the ability to take multiple attacks in one turn. Up to 3 in fact, with Grog's Fringy Rage ability. Finally, everyone's favorite horny gnome, the Bard Scanlan Shorthalt. Scanlan uses a variety of spells throughout the season, most notably being Scanlan's Hand, or Bigby's Hand as written in 5e, which allows him to summon a large spectral hand which he can use to punch, push, or pick himself up, as well as Scanlan uses the spell Lightning Bolt, which we see for the first time in his standoff with the Duke. Like in the campaign, Scanlan often casted spells from his crotch, well, for reasons, I guess. In addition, Scanlan was an avid user of illusion magic, which we see in the fight with Brimscythe, where Scanlan created an illusionary image of the party, and then again in Whitestone when Scanlan made an illusion of himself to escape the guards. But besides Scanlan's Hand, the spell he is most known for is Counterspell, a spell he used to stop the Delilah's magic in the fight atop the Ziggurat, and in the campaign, he used to prevent Silas and Delilah from escaping. With the party done, onto a few bonus abilities and spells. As mentioned earlier, Keilith used the spell called Lightning in the opening episode on the blue dragon Brimscythe. Brimscythe, being a blue dragon, is immune to lightning damage, thus why the bolt had no effect when Keilith used it on him. Dragons as well have an ability known as Frightful Presence, able to potentially frighten a creature with its intimidating aura. As well, Brimscythe has the ability to change shape, going from a human form to his true dragon form. This ability is normally reserved for ancient metallic dragons, but ultimately in D&D, the rules give way to the ones of the Dungeon Master and the table. And safe to say, I think it was a pretty cool narrative decision. Delilah in episode 4 summons a group of wraiths to attack Vox Machina in Castle Grayskull. In the show, we see the wraiths use their 2 D&D abilities. First, Life Drain, an ability which allows the wraiths to drain the life from its target. If the target is then reduced to 0 HP from this ability, it dies. Second, Incorporeal Movement, which allows the wraiths to pass through objects such as walls or even other characters, and makes it where weapons can pass right through them. Finally, we end our video with Delilah Briarwood, an accomplished spellcaster and wielder of necromantic magic, and just overall an evil bad lady. Delilah casts a variety of spells in the animated series, but at times it's kind of tough to decipher which ones they are because all of the spells are animated in the same way. However, with the knowledge of Campaign 1, we can deduce a couple of the spells. For certain, we know she cast the spell Counterspell on Scanlan in the fight at the Ziggurat, as he is unable to cast any spells in return. As well, Delilah also has the ability to cast one of the nastiest spells in all of D&D, Finger of Death. If Finger of Death kills a target, that target is then forced to rise from the dead as a zombie slave the next turn. Scary. In the campaign, Delilah casts this spell in both fights with Vox Machina, so it's safe to assume it is Finger of Death Delilah casts here on Pike in their first fight, and then again on Keilith later in episode 11. Fun fact, Delilah actually cast this spell on Vex in both fights. The second fight, Vex barely living on 1 HP. Wow, would that have changed the story of Campaign 1 if she would have died? And yeah, that's it for all of the spells and abilities I find in the Legend of Vox Machina. As always, there's definitely stuff that I missed, so feel free to drop them in the comments below. As well, some of these could be a bit of my speculation and assumptions, because not all of these spells and abilities have been confirmed to my knowledge. So for that, we might as well just go ask Matt Mercer. As always, if you enjoyed the video or learned something new, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos. Click one of the videos on screen now. As well, go follow me on all of my socials to stay up to date on when I release videos, as well as when I go live on my stream. I've made a Patreon as well, so if you'd like to support me on my content creator journey, please click the link in the description below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching my videos. I hope to see you in the next one. Have an amazing day. Stay safe out there. Peace, love, adieu.